Hey, what's going on, guys? So the other day I was at a friend's house watching the Super Bowl when an ad for the Thunderbolts came out during one of the commercial breaks. And it got me thinking as I was talking with some of the other people that were at the Super Bowl party who didn't know anything about the characters or the current state of the MCU. And then I realized that there's a Captain America movie coming out this Friday. So not only was I basically not following the Thunderbolts, but also I was oblivious to the new Captain America movie that's coming out, which says a lot because I loved the original Captain America trilogy. He honestly was probably tied for my favorite character with Rocket. And so it got me thinking about the current state of the MCU and how we could fix this, because it seems like there's a lot of upcoming projects, and I know we stress a lot on this channel about quality over quantity. And then it made me realize I think there's a way you could combine Captain America Brave New World and the Thunderbolts into one film and have it be much better, and hopefully audiences like it a lot more. But before we continue, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. We're obviously a small YouTube channel, and we do this purely for creative fun. We don't make any money off this or even try to. One of the perks of that, though, being a small channel, is we get to interact with you guys. So drop us a comment on what you'd like to see next time in the next video, or what your thoughts are on this one. Really appreciate it, and we'll do our best to get back to you. This video is being recorded February 10th, 2025, so I haven't seen either of these films. I hope to get this video on YouTube before midway through the week. But with that being said, I'm not super excited about Captain America or the Thunderbolts. To be honest, they both seem like they should just be Disney Plus series. And I'm not sure if I'll watch them in theaters, as I don't expect them to be very good. Probably decent at best. And to be honest, a forgettable MCU film is almost worse than a bad one at this point. And so, again, the goal is to combine them. Captain America comes out in February. Thunderbolts comes out in May. So this film will probably come out in April, and just clear up the slate for the rest of 2025 and make each film seem a little more important as we have less of them. But with that being said, I'm going to get into some short rules, and then I'll get into the pitch. Please let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, if you like it, what would you suggest, and how you would change this moving forward. It seems interesting to me that Captain America Brave New World is about Sam Wilson protecting the president, Harrison Ford, or Red Hulk, from assassins or a hit squad, whereas Thunderbolts is about assassins and super soldiers as a Black Ops team working against the government. Again, I haven't seen the films, but this is the summary I've read online. And I just think there's a real opportunity to make it into one big coherent storyline. And a lot of the characters have interacted already, like Bucky and John Walker with Sam and the Hulk and etc. Again, just a missed opportunity. A big reasoning for combining the two films is that Captain America features two Hulk villains. A lot of people say that this movie is going to be almost like a Hulk sequel, featuring Red Hulk, and then a guy known as the Leader on the left, who was actually in the early 2000s Hulk film as a cameo, but that came out 16 years ago, so we're working with that. And then additionally, in the Thunderbolts film, there is the Sentry, who, for those of you that don't know, is a comic book superhero / anti-hero. He's basically Superman. He's incredibly powerful, one of the most powerful characters in the MCU. He can fly, punch really hard. He's fought the Hulk, actually, in a great comic book called World War Hulk I read as a kid that I really liked. And I just think it's a coincidence that there's 3 Hulk villains in back-to-back movies and no Hulk in either of those movies. So I will include, the one big change is the Hulk will be featured in this film. With that being said, let's get into it. So I'm going to break this up into the 3-act structure, summarizing and hitting key plot points in each act, just to keep the flow going and keep this moving so it doesn't take forever. We open the movie, though, with a fight scene as Sam is fighting terrorists, kind of similar to the way it opened in Captain America Winter Soldier, except this is a fight scene in the air. Obviously, Sam fighting enemy fighter jets, kind of similar to Top Gun Maverick. This would be a pretty exciting fight scene, and it gives us a state of the modern day world with Sam acting in adjacent but as an individual to the US government and his tensions within that. We get the idea that Sam is working on his own and is without any sort of Avengers-esque team. He sometimes gets help from the Hulk or Bucky Barnes when needed and called upon, but he feels a lot of weight. And I just want to stress, I think this will make Sam more relatable, as we get the idea that Sam needs help from a team, and this will build into the future Avengers film that we're setting up for. The Hulk arrives at the end of the opening action sequence to assist Sam and Bucky. And keep in mind that this is the intelligent Hulk who wears glasses and is smart after the end of Endgame. It's basically Bruce Banner in the Hulk's body. So they have a conversation, the 3 of them, as they discuss how one of the terrorists got away, and then they speak upon how they will all be at the President's State of the Union address later this week. This will set up the rest of the film. The remainder of the first act follows the assembly of the Thunderbolts, which mainly consists of Val, who's a politician, kind of like a female Nick Fury character, who is assembling Thunderbolts from the Raft, which was that remote prison in the ocean from Civil War. However, Yelena, who's the new Black Widow, is sought out by Val. She sends assassins to kidnap Yelena, but Yelena is too strong and powerful. We realize that Yelena is tracked to a hidden location where John Walker is also there. He's identified as the terrorist that got away from the opening action sequence at the beginning of the film. We see other members such as Ghost, Taskmaster, and of course John Walker attack. There's a short action sequence where all of them fight and then realize that they've all been tricked into the same location. There are also, in addition to these members of the Thunderbolts, I'm going to add in the Sentry, of course, who is identified as a Superman-esque character. However, he hasn't shown his abilities yet, and honestly, he's just an awkward guy who claims to hear voices in his head. But there is something ominous about him, that how powerful he is, and Val says he's their secret weapon. The one major change to the team I'm going to make is I'm going to get rid of the Red Guardian and replace him with Abomination. For those of you who don't know, he was the villain in the original Hulk film. And again, this just goes to continue the theme of this being a sequel to the early 2000s Hulk film. And he acts as Val's muscle. He's obviously as strong as the Hulk. As the members of the Thunderbolts begin fighting, Abomination walks in, the hulkish monster obviously scaring them as he breaks it up and stops the fight. He is identified as Val's muscle as he works directly for her, and obviously is able to stop all the Thunderbolts, except for the Sentry, who stays in the corner and hides. He's clearly scared and says he has voices in his head. Val explains that they are going to conduct an assassination attempt on the president, explicitly saying that this is just an attempt in a way to scare the president into creating weapons of mass destruction for World War III or to protect themselves from aliens. The motives can be whatever. And explicitly states that they are not to kill the president, just scare him, and that this will be conducted on the State of the Union address later this week. As the team is reluctant, Val explains that they have no choice as they are all been convicts or they will be killed. As they are reluctant, Yelena agrees to be the leader of this team as she has no other option. Bucky is not part of the team at this point and working with Sam to prevent them in the second act of the film, which we'll get into. One other small addition I'm going to add is the inclusion of Betty Ross into this film. She's obviously the Harrison Ford's character, the president's daughter, as well as the love interest from the original Hulk films. I think it makes sense if Bruce were to go up to her and they have a brief conversation just explaining, they once loved each other but are happy for each other and have moved on. The president would walk over and shake Bruce's hands, explain that while they both had troubles in the past, they can work together for the future of America, and they both bond over their love for Betty. So the second act begins with the State of the Union address where the president is at the White House and he's about to be attacked by the Thunderbolts. Sam, the Hulk, and Bucky are all there acting as private security for the president, although they're there in civilian attire. When the Thunderbolts attack, they jump into action combating the Thunderbolts. You could have Sam fighting Ghost and Taskmaster. You could have Bucky fighting John Walker, the other super soldier, and Yelena, new Black Widow. And then the Hulk fighting Abomination on the front lawn of the White House I think would be really cool. And also seeing this new Smart Hulk fight Abomination in a more sophisticated way, kind of like how Thanos dismantled the Hulk at the beginning of Infinity War, I think would be satisfying given they've fought once before in the previous films. While this is going on, the president's being evacuated, and the Sentry is just floating above, talking to the voices in his head. He's kind of going insane. However, he recognizes President Ross, as he used to be General Ross, the acting general for the Army, where the Sentry, also known as Bob Reynolds, that's his real name, was a soldier once who was tested upon with the super soldier serum combined with nuclear fission to create the hero of the Sentry. So he remembers, has a PTSD attack, recognizing President Ross, and that causes him to flip a switch and go into Sentry mode, going berserk and attacking everyone. The Sentry is displayed as so powerful that he's able to knock out the Hulk with a single punch, blasting him across the lawn, as well as easily dispatching Bucky with a backhand and throwing Sam again just against a tree, knocking him unconscious. The Sentry is displayed as incredibly powerful and then goes on to attack the president's car. However, the president is seen to have put his daughter in that car as a way to keep her safe, putting her safety in front of his own. So the Sentry destroys the president's security limousine, if you will, which has Betty Ross in it, flipping it upside down. The president's horrified watching as the Thunderbolts and Sentry get away, going back to their compound to get more information and to get debriefed. The Thunderbolts arrive back at the compound. It could be like a tower or like a secret underground base where they are approached by Val. She's furious as the attack went horribly wrong with Sentry going berserk. He wasn't supposed to actually kill anyone as he attacked the president's convoy limousine. Sentry is still having his PTSD attack and acting sporadic. Val tells Abomination to subdue Sentry as he's getting too hard to control. Sentry rips Abomination in half, displaying that he is capable of ripping a Hulk-level villain in half with a single glance as he takes Val by the throat and kills her. Sentry has gone off the leash, and he is unable to be controlled. The rest of the Thunderbolts look on in horror as they realize that they are powerless to stop Sentry. Sentry explains that he's going to destroy not only the president, but Washington, D.C. for what they did to him as a soldier in the Iraq War and the tests they did on him as he was used as a guinea pig for lab experiments for a super soldier nuclear bomb type theory. We get a few flashbacks of Sentry being operated on, showing that he was a victim of General Ross, who is now, of course, the president. The Thunderbolts look on over the city as Sentry flies away, beginning to destroy buildings and towns, and they are unable to stop him. Back with our heroes, Betty Ross is revealed to be in a coma and not able to recover soon from the attack that she suffered. This enrages the president as he requests for the secret red vial that he's always kept for emergencies like this. His administration tries to talk him out of it, but he insists as his daughter's been attacked, and this is personal now. The red vial is obviously going to be Hulk formula, which he uses. As the Green Hulk, Bruce Banner, begins to struggle, unable to control his emotions, his rage. I really like to see the original Hulk come back and get that, like, rage fight scene. We saw the badass Hulk from the original early 2000, I think it was like 2008 Hulk film, and not this watered down, like, neutered Smart Hulk. I think this would be a perfect opportunity to bring him in to fight Sentry. So while this is going on, Sam and Bucky are beginning to realize that they're in an emergency type situation as they see on the news that Sentry is attacking. The Red Hulk takes the formula, jumping from the White House, and it begins to attack the Sentry as the Sentry flies overhead of Washington, D.C. Sam and Bucky fly to D.C. where they see the catastrophe, the battle that's happening. People are being killed left and right. Down below, they see the Thunderbolts who are there, unable or unsure of what to do in this type of situation. Sam flies down to the Thunderbolts and offers them an opportunity. Him and Bucky explain to the Thunderbolts that while they may not be the best people, it's still not late to help. This could be their one redeeming moment, and they could help save the people who are caught in the crossfires of the Red Hulk and Sentry. While they are reluctant to help, they all agree that the innocent bystanders, the Americans just like themselves, do not agree to die due to the consequences of their actions, and they go help Sam and Bucky save the individuals caught in the collateral damage of the Red Hulk and Sentry's fight. While the Red Hulk is fighting Sentry, the Sentry is too powerful and begins to knock him down. Then out of nowhere, the Green Hulk jumps and batters the Sentry. Now, this is important because while Red Hulk and Green Hulk have not always get along, General Ross and Bruce Banner, they have one common enemy now as he killed put her in a coma. So the two of them attacked the Sentry, and I think this would be a perfect opportunity for Marvel to have a really good, intense fight, kind of similar to that of like Man of Steel, with a just great action sequence of like these godlike figures. We've never really had characters as powerful as two Hulks and then like a Superman-esque fighting. I think it'd be really cool and a great opportunity to have a great third final action sequence in a Marvel film. And again, while this is going on, the Thunderbolts, or the remaining Thunderbolts led by Bucky and Sam, are flying around DC and saving people. Again, I think this is a great opportunity for Sam to help people caught in the collateral damage, as he can fly in and around the Hulk fight, and a good use of his powers, like utilizing his shield, the shield's families from debris, and also flying in and saving kids that are caught in the crossfire. I really like the idea of Sam talking the remaining Thunderbolts and playing to their empathy, because he was a counselor in Captain America Winter Soldier, where he helped active duty and veterans with PTSD and like use mediation to help people. And I think this would be a great callback to that, as well as displaying that not all heroes need like an actual superpower, and he's just able to talk to people and diffuse a situation, while also showing that the Thunderbolts can be good and are acting within the best interest of people, as they don't want to get anyone hurt. And again, while this is going on, there's a three-way like battle between the two Hulks against the Sentry. I think while this is happening, the Sentry beats down both of the Hulks, and Sam, as the Falcon / Captain America, flies in to try to save the people in the area. But the Sentry rips Sam's wings off, causing him to be just a man with a shield, protecting these families that are on like the National Mall in front of the Washington Monument. Just kind of in a similar way that Captain America was to Thanos in Endgame, except Sam is standing before this god with no powers, but he won't quit until his last breath. Sam again tries to talk down the Sentry using his, I guess, mediation / counseling skills to try to diffuse him and just play to the empathetic side, the Bob Reynolds actual human side of the Sentry, and not his alter ego voices in his head. Trying to just help him as he would one veteran to another, playing to the PTSD that Bob has. While this is going on, the Thunderbolts are in the city trying to save people. You got Ghost fusing through walls, merging through walls. Yelena is saving people from under cars. And then John Walker and Bucky run into the Smithsonian, one of the museums, where they see a group of school kids on a field trip where rubble has destroyed the building. Bucky and John go to save the kids, holding up the granite archway entrance as the kids run out of the school. I think this would be a good callback to the Captain America Winter Soldier, where Steve visited Bucky's memorial there at the beginning of the film, and also just bring it full circle to this is what Captain America stands for, saving people, not necessarily always having to punch everyone in the face, but just doing the right thing, as John Walker, Sam, and Bucky all embody these traits. And as this happens, we get one final scene with Sam talking the Sentry down and calming him down, showing that this film, it doesn't all have to end with one big punch, but yet Sam using his counseling skills, or I guess just like having a conversation with the Sentry to talk him out of killing everyone else. And right as that happens, the Smithsonian collapse as we frame back to Bucky and John Walker, killing Bucky and John Walker, and that will be the death of Bucky Barnes in the MCU. As much as I love Bucky, I just don't really see a future for him in any movie moving forward. And I think him having a death saving people, especially like kids on a field trip, would be in remembrance of Captain America. One reason I really like the idea for this third and final act to be revolving around a fight between the Hulk or Hulks in this situation against Sentry, because we've never really gotten a really good fight with the Hulk. He's always kind of dismantled people, with the exception of Thanos, pretty easily. And I think it would be a great fight to see on the big screen of these godlike figures rather than the small hand-to-hand stuff we're used to. And I think it could be done really well with the right director and the right action sequencing or choreography. Another thing I wanted to highlight was the idea of Sam taking charge and not only convincing but leading the Thunderbolts as a Avengers type team. Obviously, they're not the real Avengers, but just showing he has the capacity to be a leader, and that way set up for the future Avengers films like I think it's Doomsday and Secret Wars that are next, showing that he can lead a team if possible or if given the chance. And I think it would do a lot for his character to show that he doesn't need the serum and is just a brave man who wants to do the right thing. The ending of the film will focus on a funeral for the heroes that have fallen in the wake of the destruction, focusing mostly on Bucky, of course, as he's one of the main characters. It's revealed that the Hulk has gone missing and hasn't been seen since the destruction, since the end of the battle. Seeing the destruction around him, he's ran away and fled. And as well as the remaining Thunderbolts have been sent back to the raft, with the exception of Yelena for her heroism. And then an after-credits scene would be Sam and Yelena going to the raft to check on the members of the Thunderbolts. Yelena goes and visits Ghost and Taskmaster as she checks to see if they're all right, where Sam visits Bob Reynolds, also known as Sentry, where we find out that Sam has been having like monthly therapy-esque sessions with Bob, just trying to help him and rehabilitate Bob. I think that's very Captain America-esque, to try to help save the villains. And at which point, Sentry reveals that he can hear voices in his head from other dimensions, and that the voices are from the other dimensions or other universes say that there's an all-out multiversal war that they're on the brink of. As Sam comes to this realization and hears this, him and Yelena rejoin at the end of the film. Captain America joins with Black Widow and states that they need to form a team of heroes, a new Avengers team, to help stop this intergalactic multiversal war that it will be happening in Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret War.